you've been feeling this vibration in your tire. Which one, your front left?
I thought it was coming from the front left, and it was not just a vibration, Bubba. It was a violent shaking to the car. Like at 70, there would be nothing, it'd be smooth as silk. As soon as you hit 80, the car would start vibrating, and it felt like it was going to jump off the tarmac. It was crazy how violent the vibration was. Uncontrollable. Bizarre.
So you got this unbelievable vibration in your front end. Does Tesla have a service department?
Yes, they do. They have one in St. Pete and I think one in Brandon. I bought the car in St. Pete. That's on 34th Street and like 46th Avenue.
Right. So is that where you took it back to?
Yes, I did.
All right. So you tell them, hey, I got a vibration. Now is the service center all futuristic and all Tesla'd out,
It's interesting. It's a little different. And Bubba, it's a weird process because you got to initiate it on your phone.
Right.
And so then they're like, okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm like, I sent them a message back. I'm like, this isn't going to wait 2 weeks. And they still said 2 weeks. And so then I called and I said, I have a very dangerous situation with my car. I'm coming in today. The guy's like, okay, cool. Come in. I'll see you today.
Now, isn't it with a Tesla, everything can go through the app?
Except for you can't tighten a screw through the app, but all the electrical stuff does.
I mean, you can, if you wanted to start your car right now and turn the air to 71 degrees so that in 5 minutes you go to get in it, you could do that through your app.
Yes, I can. I hit, it starts like this, put it on the screen, and then I would hit climate, and then I would put it on, and it starts blowing cold air in my car at 71 degrees or whatever temperature I set it at. So, yes, on hot days, it's a wonderful thing. And
now, does it have surveillance on your phone, too?
Sure do. I can see the cameras.
So you could see, when Lummy's got his wiener out and he's urinating on the front right.
That's right.
Hey, for all us guys who pee outside, don't pee on the Tesla because Dan you'll have camera on your wiener.
And all Tesla owners were instructed or advised to keep the cameras on because people were vandalizing them, and so that's how you catch the vandals, so dumbasses. You're on camera, smile, bitch.
So I mean, it's got a complete 360 camera situation, correct?
Yes.
Right. Now, they make every Tesla with they make it with it being able to go as fast as it possibly can, but that all gets unlocked through your app by what features you buy, correct?
Yes.
So you could get my sister's car, she doesn't have the basic, she's got the upgrade, and it all got upgraded through the app. I'm like, well, she goes, I don't have the such and such, I got the such and such plus. And I go, well, how much more did the such and such plus cost? And she's like, $8,500. And I go, does the dealer? No, I just pay for it through the app, and then they turn it on. They turn that portion of performance or whatever you're getting turned on through the app.
That's crazy.
Is that how it works, Dan?
Yeah, everything. I mean, pretty much, yes.
All right.
So it's incredibly advanced, and a lot of cars should go in this direction, but they're not. So
you go to the dealership to try to find out why it's violently shaking at any time. Now, does it shake at 50 or is it
0?
Only? So it's only you only got the shake issue
at high speed.
At high speed,
and it's scary if you're on the veterans, and you can't do 70 on the veterans when everyone else is doing 80.
Right.
Or on I-4. And so you're going to get just dive bombed by all the drivers, or you're literally, it's shaking like a jackhammer, Bubba. It's not a vibration. It was a violent up and down shaking. It was crazy. And it wasn't every time. It would change the speed it would come at, and the intensity would go back and forth. So it was so bizarre. And I go to the dealer, and I go to the service guy, and I say, I need a supervisor. I'm not even going to deal with this guy because
Why?
Because the guy that I started dealing with didn't have any idea what I was talking about.
He's a piss boy, Bubba.
He was a piss boy.
He's a jobber.
He was a jobber. Right. So I went to the service manager.
I like Seth's description of piss boy.
Yeah. And he knew exactly who you were, and I didn't bring up you or radio or anything until the very end of the conversation after you had agreed to everything. But he said initially, it's not my problem. I'm like, what do you mean it's not your problem? He goes, well, these tires are Goodyears. It's their problem. I'm like, bitch, you sold me a car with these tires on it.
Hold on. What came, are these the tires that came stock with your purchase?
Yeah.
Well, then it's their problem.
Goddamn right it is.
Right.
So I said, he goes, it's not really our problem. It's it's a manufacturing problem from the tire, and if it's an issue, I'm like, well, first of all, who puts foam in tires, and why am I reading about this?
Hold on, you're jumping ahead of yourself.
Oh, okay. So before I bring it in,
we have to break down how you even discovered what was in the tire.
Right. I went online. And I started reading about vibrations, and online is awesome. And sometimes you get things like the Earth is flat. But in this particular situation, I was reading that some owners were saying that there's a layer of foam lining the inside of the tire to cut down the noise, tire noise, road noise, and that sometimes that piece of foam can get delaminated or come off the inside of the tire, get detached. And then that causes an imbalance. And
now it's all wadded up in there instead of being perfectly symmetrically around the tire.
Yeah, like a sheet in your dryer that's all wadded up.
So, did you...
So I went to the guy, I'm like, this is what's going on. He goes, how do you know? I'm like...
Because I Googled it.
Doctor and a lawyer, bitch.
Because if it was a wheel weight, then it would be consistent. And it would be at lower speeds and go away at higher speeds. If it was a suspension problem, it would happen at different speeds, not just at 90. And so it's absolutely the foam that I've read as described. He goes, well, we'll see about that. I'm like, okay. I'm bringing the car back tomorrow, and you're going to take off the tires, and then we'll have another conversation. And he was initially going to charge me like $250 just to diagnose it. So I go back yesterday, and while he's doing that, I call Goodyear. And I said, I got a problem. I got this.
Goodyear? How do you just call Goodyear? You call Goodyear corporate?
Yeah.
You did?
Yep.
Okay.
And I got a hold of a wonderful woman.
Okay.
Named Amy. And Amy took care of me. And she says, hold on. I've heard about this. I don't know that much about it. This is, a relatively new tire and a relatively new problem. Let me make a couple phone calls, and I'll call you back. And so she calls me back.
Now, your car's still in the back at Tesla, though.
It's still in Tesla. I'm in Tampa.
You didn't even sit in the waiting room?
Oh, no, I dumped it off. You think I'm going to sit there and wait for 3 hours, Bubba?
Oh, come on. No, I didn't know if it was just, listen, if you took it to Rubber City, like Seth does to his cars, they take the tire off right there. You sit in the waiting room for 15, 20 minutes. They fix it. In 25 minutes, you're down the road.
I dumped it off at lunch and said I'll be back in the afternoon.
Okay.
And so.
Did you have somebody followed you, Uber back?
Yeah, Napa.
Okay. All right. So you had one of your employees follow you over there. You dump it off and be back at noon.
Exactly. Right. I'll be back this afternoon.
I'll be back this afternoon.
Right.
All right. So go ahead, pick it up.
So then I called Goodyear and they said, well, let me work on it. And then before Goodyear called me back, I speak to Tesla. I mean, to the service manager again, and I talked to him, and he's like, "Yep, you're right. There was loose foam in the front left tire, but the other 3 tires are okay." And it'll be this much for a new tire. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Wait, why do you got to buy a new tire?
Exactly.
I mean, it's got the tire. How many miles you got in a car?
4,500.
So I got 4,500
maybe
miles
5,000
on the actual rubber portion of the tire, the wear mark, just because of some insert that you glue inside the tire, which has nothing to do with the wear of the tire. The tire has 25,000. Most tires are rated to go 30, 35,000. So I got probably 20,000 miles left of tread life, and you're trying to slap me with a new one because your glue came loose on your stupid foam willy?
Yeah.
Get some Gorilla Glue. Just put it back in.
Yeah, let me have that,
it's
bitch.
Fine without it.
Bubba get it.
Now hold on. Can it operate without the foam?
Yes.
There
apparently. Well,
yeah.
that's what we're experimenting with. So let me get. Now we're getting ahead of it again. So I tell the guy, I'll be there in an hour to pick it up, and then Goodyear calls me back and she says, you know what? Don't even deal with that. I have a place here in Odessa. a nice guy named Pat who's going to take care of you. Pat is a listener, Bubba. He's a Bubba Army guy. I called him. He was so nice. He knew exactly who I was. He goes, I got you, man. I'll have the tires here by tomorrow. I'm not charging you a penny. I insist on replacing all 4 tires, and Goodyear's covering the whole thing.
What?
And if Tesla charges you, they'll cover that charge as well. So I called Tesla back and I say, put the old tire back on. I'm not paying you a penny. This is BS. I'm not buying a new tire from you. Goodyear's giving me 4 for free.
What were they trying to gouge you for a new tire?
The whole bill would have been like $750. It would have been like $500 for the tire and $250 for the diagnosis, plus like $30 for like disposal crap. And I said, put the old tire back on. And then by the time I got there, my bill turned from $750 to $0.
But that's just
Tesla took care of me too. They did in the end. They were low resistance at the beginning.
Hold on,
but they took care of me.
But they didn't put the new tire on like Joe's going to.
No, they didn't. They didn't. But they helped facilitate it all. And so, I think there's a problem. I think there's a huge problem with every single Cybertruck because they all have these tires, and these tires have this foam. Now, Bubba, they put the tire back on.
Most Teslas have it.
Oh, okay. So
even the cars.
So it's a common thing with Tesla to keep the cars quiet because there's no engine noise,
right,
to drown out the tires.
So you
road
hear
sound.
every little thing you hear.
Right. So I said, listen, the foam, save it. I want to see the foam. So they put the tire back on, drive smoothly. So I have 3 tires with foam, 1 tire without foam, but I'm still replacing all 4. But Bubba, let me show you what they took out of this goddamn tire. Hold on.
And also, it looks like you can you pick the option on your Tesla.
It is this. Look how long this is. Look how long this is. This thing is like 10 feet long. I'm still going with it. Look, it goes. I can't even touch the ground with it.
So they just wrap that and then use it's some type of adhesive to keep it in the tire.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of where the glue came off of it, but yeah, that's in the tire.
That probably
that got wadded up and created,
and that probably wraps around 2, maybe 3 times.
I think it wraps around once. I sent you a video, like a quick video of it explaining it.
It looks like it's crazy.
Looks like it's an option on your Tesla. You can say you can pay a little bit more and get your foam in your tires or not.
I never saw that as an option.
Dan never saw that. He would never take the pre-foam tire.
I don't care about foam. It's just something else to break. So this tells me that every single Tesla has this problem. This is like a recall issue.
Quite frankly, Dan, it doesn't seem like they're offering the public the option to not have it because you wouldn't have gotten it.
Hell no. Do I care about noise?
Here we go.
This is a tire from my Tesla. Let me show you what's going on inside. So obviously this doesn't look like a regular tire because it has foam inside. Now what this does, this helps absorb road noise and kind of dampen it. That's what this little icon means on the sidewall of the tire right there. Now I'm not a foam expert or anything, but that feels rather expensive. This feels like memory foam type of stuff. And that's why these tires are somewhere above $400 each.
It's like the foam you wrap PVC pipe with. It's like that kind of foam, Lummy. It's crap foam. It's not that expensive. It's junk. And I can't believe they put this in there.
It looks like soundproofing foam.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's pure stupidity. And now there's literally 40,000 Tesla trucks with this problem.
You know,
call a law. I think it's a class action lawsuit because they should be bending over backwards fixing this stuff and saying, "Oh yeah, not a problem. You can glue it back on and then rebalance the tires and everyone's fine." Or take them off.
You're a lawyer. File it up.
Let's get a Tesla truck so we can join in on the lawsuit.
Yeah, buy a used one. So I mean, here's the deal. The guy from Odessa, what a great dude, huh?
Yeah, really nice guy.
You need to find out, get his business card with his mailing address and his T-shirt size.
Why did he do that? Why did he give you 4 free? Was it
because Goodyear said take care of him, and he knew Bubba, and he knew the show. He used to run the dealer. He used to run the Goodyear on Southdale Mabry, so he's very familiar with us.
So here's the deal.
He's a fan, you know.
So Dan, he probably watches the show. Or listens to the show. Dan, here when you go to his place in Odessa, grab his business card and get his T-shirt size, and we'll send him a nice little care package.
That's a great idea.
He's
Thank
doing
you.
And you know what? Too bad we don't know the Goodyear people. I'd love to send this air check to to them and how wonderful. I can't believe you called Goodyear corporate and actually got a hold of somebody that could remedy and help you with your stupid Tesla phone problem. But you did.
Yeah, they took care of it faster than Tesla did.
Well, good for Goodyear.
I'm glad that Tesla rose to the occasion and didn't charge me. I mean, it was only a couple $100, but it's the principle of it at that point that they have a defect in what they're selling and they're not bending over backwards to take care of it. I called Rob Elder about this and I said, Rob, if this happened to you, what would you do? He goes, oh my God, I'd fix it immediately. The last thing I want is a guy going to someplace else to go to business. I want to keep that guy in my shop.
Listen,
I'll eat it myself if I have to.
Like listen, I know Wayne Hammond, I know Rob Elder, I know Bob Murray, I know a bunch of great car guys. And here's the deal, man. They want, if there's anything wrong with that vehicle that they sold you, they want to keep it in house.
Yep.
They want to fix it. They want you to do your oil changes there.
Everything.
They want your tire rotation. They want all your business, and you know what? And they also want to remedy any problem you have for free because it's such a great PR move for them.
And they want you to buy another car from them in a few years. That's the whole point of it.
When Rob Elder used to own Elder Ford, and you'd have some type of issue, whatever, the engine light comes on or the anti-brake, you take it to them, they fix it. Could have been a little bill, but the service manager goes, listen, we really appreciate, I know that you and by the way, my mom has bought a car from there. I know you and your family have bought some cars from us here. There's no bill on this, buddy.
Exactly. And Tesla realized that eventually. The service manager at Tesla certainly realized that. It just took him a moment to get to that. And that was nice the whole time. I wasn't a dick. I wasn't angry. I was just persistent.
Are you sure?
Dan, you weren't angry, Dan?
I was.
Dan,
I was.
You were probably a little dickish to the Tesla guy.
Assertive. I wasn't angry. And I was telling him, I'm like, listen, you can tell you all you want. I know what the problem is. This is not my first time I've driven a car. I've driven every kind of car that there is, and I know when there's a problem, and I know where it is. And I had to go through all that. I had to go through all that.
Hold on. Most Tesla service managers, they don't have to worry about that consumer saying my other car's a Ferrari. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But I did tell him, I said, I race cars on the track, and I know when there's a problem. I know where the problem's coming from. I know it's the front left tire. Check that one first. And I know it's not a wheel weight because I can diagnose problems like this by driving. And so when my diagnosis was 100% accurate, he started believing me that I knew what I was talking about.
Thank God to Goodyear, huh?
Yeah.
They're the ones that... So Goodyear probably thought, they probably went down their list of people in Tampa, some of their best dealers that are, really easy to work with, and they got the guy from Odessa.
Do you know why he has Odessa? Because it wasn't just the tire, Bubba. There was two other things that it needed to qualify as the place for me to go to. They needed the special machine that doesn't mark up the wheels. It's like a touchless tire mounter.
Right.
And because that truck is so specific and big and heavy, they needed the right kind of lift for it. And so that Odessa place had the right tire mounter and the right lift. And that's why she sent me there.
Get me that business card. We'll start promoing that guy.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
All right.
If you want to deep dive into the Bubba the Love Sponge show from the past, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back after these words.